Hello, I'm Sean Lim, and welcome to After 10. As Korea transitions into a more engaged civic society, what role does volunteerism play in our daily lives? On today's After 10, we meet with the next president of Rotary International to speak about how individuals can light the way together. Stay with us. Well, Mr. Hwang, thank you so much for joining us here on After 10. It's truly an honor.
Thank you for having me.
Well, can you tell us what role the Rotary International organization plays in the world? What kind of impact has it had?
Well, Rotary is an organization. We are not political and we are not religion. We are the service organization. And we are gather a group of volunteers who has the profession, or we call have a special skill on the vocation. So we're using our talent and what we know to help people who need help and to help the community and can live at a better life. And Rotary started in 1905, and now it's 109 years. And we have more than 1.2 million Rotarians and spread in more than 200 countries and areas. And here in Korea, we have 60,000 Rotarians spread in 18 districts and more than 1,579 Rotary clubs. And you can imagine number 4 largest Rotary country here with Rotarians' help and their volunteer service. We can help a lot of people who need help.
So you're going to be the president of the international organization starting in July. Congratulations on that. What drew you to the organization in the first place?
Well, thank you. After joining Rotary for 38 years, finally I have the honor and pleasure to become the first Taiwanese and first Chinese to serve on this capacity. In fact, when I was in high school, and I was the president of a student body, so I received a special award from Rotary Club of Taipei. They chose an outstanding service student instead of the top grade student. And that was my first time attend a Rotary meeting, and I found out all the members in the room are all famous people who we saw on the newspaper or television. So I thought, oh, these successful men, they still want to help people. That's how I got that image about Rotary. And when I study abroad and come back, and I become Rotarian since then.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that the organization honored the level of service, not necessarily grades, when they're looking at the students. And a lot of students here in South Korea are focused on the grades rather than a lot of the service. Why do you think it's so important that you highlight that it's, that's a meaningful focus that people should have?
Yeah. Well, I was president of a student body. Of course, my grades still not that bad, but it's around 10 to 15, but not a top 5. But I emphasize that because we are not the charity organization, we are a service organization. And we want to train our new generation that to serve the community, to serve the people who need help. And yes, good grade, if you can get it, it's good. But for people who want to serve or learn the skill to serve other people, I think for Rotary, they think they can help our environment, our community, even our country much better in the future.
And you've mentioned before in your public statements that an individual can make a difference. And a lot of people, however, may not feel as if they're empowered to serve or make a difference in the world. I believe you quoted Confucius saying that it's better to light a single candle than to sit and curse the darkness. Can you tell us a little bit more about your philosophy towards
Yes.
volunteerism and service?
Certainly. When we got nominated as the president, and one of our first priority or job is to find the theme for our year to inspire our Rotarians around the world. And to me, as a CEO and as HK in West, so I'm still very much that relate to my Chinese culture because I was born in China and moved to Taiwan when I was 1 year old with my parents. And we find out many people, either in school, in company, or in the organization or government, they keep complaining and keep complaining they don't have enough and keep complaining somebody else for that we don't have the enough or fair opportunity. But they never thought about how to solve the problem. That's why I read Confucius' book and I study the Chinese culture. I like a sentence, very important, say, find solution, not excuse.
And that's the title of your book, Find
Yeah.
Solutions, Not
That's right.
Excuses.
So I do that and choose that as the theme. And then before I try to use that as my theme, but after discuss with the Rotarian, then we find out all the organization or charity had a similar problem too. People just keep complaining about the situation. They don't do nothing. They sit there. Of course, everything remain unchanged. So everything still stay in dark.
Because they feel a little bit helpless.
That's right.
And you've come to Korea at a time when many people are feeling helpless, frustrated, anxious over the Sewol-ho ferry sinking disaster.
Oh, yes. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I was in Africa for a meeting. But during that time, I already know I have a scheduled plan to come to Korea. And we heard this very unfortunate, very disaster things. And especially many people got cut and passed away during this accident. But most important things is the family who suffer this problem. They will feel pain for a long time. So as a Rotarian, we really want to see how we can help, not just from locally, from internationally. But I'm very grateful that 3 days ago, Rotarian did arrange me to visit the site in the park. And we were very touched. More than 10,000 volunteers there to help those victims' family. And we are also very sorry to learn that there were 20 Rotary actors. That means young Rotarian. They might be the future leader. We train them to be the good leader in the future, very active. Unfortunately, 20 of them on the board, only 6 got rescued, and 2 now announced died, still 12 is missing.
So your own student members were
Right,
part of this
right.
tragedy. How has the organization reached out to their family?
Right. So now we set out a fund from Rotarians, local and worldwide, try to help the family to get out of this. But of course, not just for this 20, there's so many people there. Some of them might need help too. So the local Rotarian did set up a special rescue team to see what they can help. And this cannot solve in short period. They have a long-term plan through the district governors and the Rotary Club presidents. I'm very glad that they volunteer get term to serve the family there, and they continue to find a way how to help the family of these victims can survive for these disasters.
Right. I'm sure many people were very appreciative of all the work that you did here in Korea. You mentioned that Korea is the fourth largest organization or subset of Rotary International. What brings people to the Korean branch? Does it differ from the other branches?
Korea become one of a very strong Rotary country, and I'm very happy to know in Jizhou that new district is born last week and started July 1st. This district 3662, and they didn't have any past governors before, but they have more than 3,000 Rotarians. So as a president, or let's say president-elect or new president, I want to see how I can help, and I want to show my welcome to this Rotarian in the new district. And Korean have 18 districts now, and the Korean have more than 1,500 Rotary Club. And second thing, and the reason I want to come, because Korean have one of the past RI president, D.K. Lee, who served in 2008 and 2009. And this year, he served as chairman of Rotary Foundation and look after all the funds and that. But his job will complete June 30. So I try to get from him, and tomorrow I have a meeting with him to see what he has not yet completed and what is the goal I can follow him or complete it for him together. And not just Korea, but maybe in Asia and around the world.
Korea prides itself on becoming a donor country after being an aid recipient throughout its developmental past. But for a lot of Koreans who just live their everyday lives, how can they actually live out, that new status as a Korean on the global stage? How do you inspire Korean people to really be civically engaged?
Well, I'm not the one to inspire them to do that. I'm very proud for Korean Rotarian. I should say they are not the only one turned from receiver to giving something to help other people. But they are one of the first to do that. When Korean economy becomes strong and Rotarian, when they have more than enough, and they think they should do something for the community and also help the other countries, people or village. And because they will receive the help before, so now they think this is their turn to help other people. Right. So they are doing very well.
I've heard that membership, though, is a bit of a challenge, especially for any organization moving into the future. Is like, how do you adapt to the new environment while also maintaining your connection and obligations to your existing base? In Korea, how do you market that, especially when there's other organizations that are perhaps in a similar capacity?
Yes. And there's many service organization or charity organization like Rotary Line, Kiwana, or Chongda, or Junior Chamber, etc. But recently, because of economic situation, they all have the membership declines problem. But fortunately, Rotary have problem, but we are more stable. And Rotary and other organizations, the main difference is we meet once a week. And we think only when we meet together, we know each other, and we can discuss with each other. And even we visit other country, we can make up our meeting. And then you have a better communication, and you will find better project to help people who need help. But now, many younger generation, they just get out from the school and they just find a new job. They may not have that much free time to attend the lunch or dinner. But however, you do need to eat lunch or dinner. And there's generation change and new generations coming up. So Rotary been also changed forward. So, for example, I'm going to promote, started not just from July 1st, but I got nominated 19 months ago in October 2012. So I already been traveling for 19 months to around the world for 3.5 rounds already, to Africa, to many countries. And that's our job, to learn and to know people. So we are promoting the spouse to join Rotary because they've been with us for a long time. For example, I joined Rotary 38 years. My wife followed with me for 37 years. Last year, she finally, she wanted to join the Rotary.
Because a lot of people think it's only for men.
That's right. And then, after she joined, all my 3 children, they also grew up.
They
now.
started to join.
They also joined.
Yeah.
They joined a different club. And that created my idea that we should encourage family of Rotary. Because they've been around with Rotary and they do not need too much emphasis to introduce.
Right, they could just transition in.
And second thing, we want to emphasize new generation.
Right.
Well, for example, like you, right? So active, intelligent, and educated abroad, come back, now the broadcasting company, be sure. If you become Rotarian, that will also attract more younger generation coming in.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you're working on? I understand
Yes.
that you've been committed for years on polio eradication and other health issues.
Yeah. For the past 100 years, all the clubs, they have their own plan, service project for local environment, for international service project, or for vocational service project, or community service project to help develop the community. But one of the biggest service projects we do for the last 26 years, started from 1988, is the eradication of polio. And we are this close to finishing that now, because when we started in 1988, each year there are more than 460,000 cases of polio. More than 170 countries are polio country. But now we have only less than 240 cases last year. And only 3 countries still had the polio. One is Afghanistan, and Nigeria, and Pakistan. And we are working very hard for the last battle. And we hope we can finish, and together with the UNICEF, WHO, and the Bill Gates Foundation, that we can announce this in 2018. And one of greatest news this year, which encourage us, we know we're going to make it, because India just have announced by WHO for polio-free country last February.
Wow.
And we were attended. And you know, India is one of the largest or second largest population. And if they can announce polio-free within 3 years, none of these cases, we are confident the other remaining 3 countries will be finished.
Well, that's certainly a wonderful achievement. So as the new president starting in July, what is next?
So far, we have only 1.2 million Rotarians. And my board of directors has set out a goal to reach 1.3 million Rotarians by end of next year. And second big goal, of course, is we have to work hard, keep raising funds to finish this last battle of eradicate of polio. And number 3, I asked my governor-elect and president from my year, July 1st, to have Rotary Day celebration in their community, in their zone, in their district, in their country. And to invite not just Rotarians to participate, to invite family of Rotary, to invite the local community, to invite students, to invite college cheerleader, or that. Let them know that Rotary is not just do serious work or only boring speeches.
Well, you're creating a civic society there.
Right, so we are creating, you can have the bicycle riding, you can have a concert, you can have a board game, you can have a picnic, you can have celebrate local successful project, or you can have a gathering for the new generation to get together. And we just clean the park or clean the street, let people know that what Rotary doing and where Rotary exists, and you can participate too. And if you find it so easy, you can do something good for the community.
Right.
They might want to come back again to join.
Yeah.
And that will help us to reach the goal, but also important things will bring the public attention that what is Rotary, and we would like to have a new generation and professional career people like you and that to join us, and then we can have more power and stronger organization to help people who need help.
Well, that's certainly inspiring. Thank you so much for all of your time and insight tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a great honor, and thank you for listening.
And that does it for us tonight on After 10. Join us again next time. We'll see you soon.
We will continue to do our best to improve our show based on the perspective of our viewers. Always feel free to leave us any comments, great ideas, or suggestions you wish to share with us.